I would also appreciate if there are no.
No.
Okay. Good. Anybody else? Just run through. Even if you have run through, fine.
Yes, sir, done a run through.
You have run through. Good, wonderful. Thanks. Who else? How many of you are here for the knowledge and learning, and how many of you are here for the completion of diploma and getting a certificate?
Both.
Both. Good. See, my experience, I passed out in 99, diploma in thing. I'm not an HR guy. I'm from a shop floor, okay, where the training was very intense. The demand for training is very intense. So I wanted to, learn training skills. So I registered myself for this, and later on I became a marketing and sales guy, and I've been using the skills of training and development because I hold a certificate on diploma and training. Okay, so it's important. How many of you are confident? What is your confidence level? When are the exams coming up?
Probably end of June
Announced,
or July.
sir.
Announced?
It is not announced yet.
Not announced, it is okay. Another couple of months? Probably, yeah, true. And this one, what is it? How many of you are confident? Your confident level in the scale of 1 to 10 at 6, 7, 8.
Confident for, sir, which one? For which? Confident for?
Confidence level in clearing your exams.
It's sir.
I'll do it later. Yeah, tell me, please. Oh, good, wonderful. Nina Charles, good. Then, see, from my experience, it's going to be very, very, very difficult to not clear. You will have to put 10 points that I should not clear this examination. What all the things that I should do so that I should not clear the examination. And, when you practice that, probably you may be successful in not clearing the examination. When I took up, I was the only guy during that period from Bangalore chapter who passed. Passed, I said. I didn't get great marks, but I passed, I cleared. What does it tell you? What does it tell you?
You were studious.
Okay. What else? Part of the session, okay.
You had interest for the subject.
Okay.
Passion for learning, sir.
Okay.
You were attentive and you showed some interest to clear the examination.
Okay.
Others were non-studious.
Okay. Anybody else?
Your efforts, sir.
Efforts, okay. A bit of all of these things.
You have confidence.
Confidence, okay. What else?
You had confidence.
Okay. Now, a bit of all these things, but I was the only guy who was dare enough to take up the examination. I found that to my right, left, and center, there were no guys from my batch. Of course, there were senior batches who had joined me to take up the examination. So I was the only one to clear the examination. So what I am telling you is that all your efforts will have to be put in taking up the examinations. Okay, because you have an experience. Most of you are from HR or training field. Am I right?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
But I was not. I was a shop floor executive and I was not in HR, and I was able to do it. So it gives you, it should give a lot of confidence that it is going to be very, very, very difficult to fail or not complete or not clear. I would like to put it this way. So based on that, let's have some kind of a reflections on our, subject now. Okay. Now I have some reflections here on the subject which we have dealt with. Okay. Now this session is going to be on dealing with certain reflections. I can say certain questions on the subject. There is no wrong and right. Since I have found most of you have not run through, but you know something about facilitation. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So based on that, we will just reflect on certain questions that, to give you some confidence on the subjects. Okay. So the first one is, I'm not going to be here answering this or solving this for you because I'm not a teacher. I don't want to get myself into the shoes of a teacher here. I would like you to come. It's going to be free for you. I would like you to come up and say that this is what it is, this is what it is. Let's spend some 5 or 7 minutes on each one of these. Okay. Are you all okay with this?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. And here is, how do you define facilitation? What are the reasons behind bringing in the topic of facilitation? There is no right, there is no wrong answers to this. It's your experience which I will have to speak. First of all, tell me, did we talk about this in our session?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Just go ahead. I'll just take this call. I don't know, it could be an emergency call. I'll just take this call, please. Yeah, not an emergency call. Because I'm handling some friends across India, the ISTD friends who are looking for some beds, So I just thought that let me handle these calls. Okay, good. Tell me, somebody opened up.
Yeah, facilitation is all about empowering others to bring up their thoughts, ideas, and like understandings about situation topic.
Excellent. Anybody else would like to, share or top up on this?
What I feel is facilitation is not about like sharing your own knowledge or understanding. It's not sharing your or giving your own inputs, but it's all about allowing others to participate in a process. And it's like bringing up everybody to a process. It's not like maybe passive or active participants, but everybody. It's all about making everybody active in a process.
Good. With a set rules and techniques and skills. Okay, it's good. Excellent. You can add this with a set techniques and skills put forth for facilitation. Good.
So may I?
Okay.
Yeah, please.
So facilitation is basically an act of helping people deal a particular process. And it is about encouraging the participants to find the solution to their own problem. So it is, you are encouraging them to, take control of their learning process, unlike a typical training program. So this is about facilitation, encouraging the participants to find their own way, empowering them, etc.
Wonderful. Empowering is fine. I don't know whether you can use the word control and help. I'll relook into those two words. Okay. I don't say it's wrong, but I would like you to relook into these two words which you have used. Okay,
So
right.
as per me, so this is Nina here. Facilitation is when you are facilitating the skill set of every individual of the participants who are in the program, where you've already passed on the knowledge, and now you are facilitating you're guiding their skills to go ahead and implement the knowledge into their own skills so that they'll be able to utilize it in their own operational activities. So that is called facilitation as per me.
Okay, fine. I don't see there is any this one in it. I'm looking at certain thing which is against the principles of facilitation, which was not seen in your statement. So as long as it's not seen, fine, good. And what are the reasons behind bringing this topic of facilitation in training program?
Facilitation is very much needed in success of any training program.
Pardon?
It is very essential for
It again,
the
please.
success of a training.
How does it help? Anybody?
Involvement of all the participants, encourage them to participate, tackling the problems.
Who tackles the problems?
The participants themselves.
The trainer should have the
Okay.
capacity and skill to analyze the
Sorry, something went wrong. Hello.
It's audible, sir.
Yeah. I know. Something. Yeah, tell me, please. I don't know. Suddenly I was out of the meeting. Yeah. Mr. Ashok, you may have to allow me to share screen, share screen now. Yeah, tell me, please. Can you all hear me?
We can hear you, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir.
We were discussing about why is facilitating coming into training? In what way it's helpful in training? Why are we discussing facilitation in a training program? What do you think, knowing the skills and process of facilitation, where all do you think in a training program it would be utilized? To identify training need analysis? Hello? Hello?
Sir, you're audible.
I'm audible, right. Now, let's discuss this. What are the reasons behind bringing in this topic of facilitation in training program? Where all do you think in a training program you can use the skills and process of facilitation? Like, for example, TNA, identification of the topics. Identification of facilities. What else?
Methodologies.
Methodologies, true.
Duration. Faculty. Budget.
True. Good. Feedback.
Evaluation.
Evaluation. Good. So facilitation can be utilized. The trainer is not a facilitator, but a facilitation process can be utilized in the training. You'll have to be very careful about this. Okay. This is what it is. And a facilitator can be a different guy and a trainer can be different. And a trainer and a facilitator can be one person, but he should not mix up the process of facilitation into training. Do you all agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Lot. Okay, I was just, I wanted at least one. Okay, good. Do we move on to the next reflections? Anybody else would like to share on this? Okay, Dronacharya was a trainer. Do you all agree with me in the epic Mahabharata?
Yes, sir.
Dronacharya was a trainer. When Arjuna was asked to, when the Kauravas and the Pandavas were asked to shoot a bird on the tree, okay, how did Dronacharya play this? It just flashed me and just thought, let me share this. How did he play this? What did he ask the others and the Arjuna? What did he ask others and what did they answer and what did Arjuna answer?
Others were seeing a lot of things, but Arjuna was only seeing the eye of the bird.
Of the bird. What was the question of Dronacharya to Arjuna?
What do you see?
Okay. Was it a facility?
Dronacharya,
Yeah, please.
Dronacharya asked, can you see the tree? And then Arjun said, oh, it's only the eye of the bird he could see.
Okay. It's like, what do you see? And people said they see a lot of things around. And Arjuna was the only guy who said that he saw the eye of the bird. And Dronacharya's question was, what do you guys see? What do you see? Was it a facilitative question or was it a training question?
It was a
Facilitative
facilitator
question.
Okay. Right. The purpose of using icebreakers at the beginning of a training program is to build up rapport with the participants only. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Will you be able to explain this with examples?
So like icebreaker activities are primarily for building up the rapport between the participants at the onset of the training.
Okay.
So any activity can be planned wherein the participants can have warmth and they would know each other before the training program. So they would be able to break the ice and would know the participants during the course of the training.
Okay. Good. Anybody else? Okay, let's see. What is World Cafe?
It's a type of experiential learning
Okay.
where
Yeah, please go on. Who is this speaking, please?
I'm Chandrlekha.
Chandrlekha. Yeah. Sorry. I'm not able to, see. That's the reason. Okay, Chandrlekha. Please. What is it? World Cafe?
Here the participants are divided into small groups and they are sit around a round table and discussing the things.
Discussing the topics, whatever has been shot to them. Okay, given to them, or they have evolved, whatever it is. Am I right? Hello.
So may I tell about the World Cafe?
Okay.
So it's like basically an informal cafe setting.
Wonderful.
Wherein a large group is subdivided into smaller groups and they are sitting in the whole area in set of tables. And
Okay.
there is a facilitator also, and they're discussing on the same aspect. I mean, different questions, and they change their setting. The
Okay.
facilitator stays in that same table, and rest of the participants, they keep moving to the different tables. And I think that is what.
Fine, good.
And the whole,
Is it a part of facility? Yeah, go on, please.
And there's someone who notes the points also during the discussion at that particular table. So the next set of people who comes, so they discuss what was the previous learning, and there's more addition by the facilitator, and the inputs of the new set of the participants are also noted.
Okay. Okay. Is it a part of a, is it a facilitation process or is it a training process?
It's a facilitation because it is about the collective intelligence of
Wonderful.
the group of people.
Wonderful. Icebreakers?
The training process.
Madam? Yes, Chandralekha?
I think, sir, it is a training process.
What is the difference between facilitation and the training? Do you have the presentations what is sent to me? I sent to you.
Training is only a learning process and facilitation is helping others to in a
Okay.
program.
How does the learning process in training happen?
It's trainer centric in a typical training process. Whereas
Intervention of trainers are required in a training process to complete learning. Okay. So here, I don't see there would be an intervention. It would be only an observation and, facilitation. He doesn't intervene. He doesn't tell you. Okay. Clear, Chandralekha? If you still have, conflict on that process, we can always discuss this. Okay. Icebreakers. Explain icebreakers. Briefing and debriefing.
It's actually done at the beginning of a training program.
Okay.
Here the different kinds may be adopted. In certain cases, two persons may be introducing one another.
Okay. Effective feedback mechanism. I'm sure you can explain this on paper. Am I right? I'm sure you all can explain this online. Now the last one is challenges of facilitation on e-learning platform. Any inputs on this?
Definitely, there are challenges in online platform.
Sir, facilitation it's more of a human connection.
Okay.
The e-learning is one which is actually blocking the human connection to a great extent.
Okay.
In
Are
that
we
way,
experiencing it?
what is it, sir?
Are we experiencing it now?
Yeah, we are experiencing it. Actually, we are learning now, right now. Probably we are
Okay.
adopting the new way as how to have a e-facilitation better.
Good. There are still challenges. You can just, put on the challenges. What are the challenges you would be, challenges of facilitation on e-learning platform is many. Okay. I think you can put it across. Anybody else on thought process in this?
One of the very evident challenges for the facilitation during e-learning platform is when the group is silent and is unresponsive many a times.
True.
So that is the foremost.
I know. I
So how
sweat
to
here.
get true.
True. That's very important. And I don't see your expressions, your emotions, your face. That's a very difficult one. And I can't push you on doing that also. Okay, you are sitting in a different situations, and so that there are certain drawbacks. Facilitation needs to see you. That's what it means. I like to see you. I like to see how uncomfortable you are or comfortable you are, whatever it is. And I like to look at your emotional, responses, reactions, so that accordingly I would take it along. So that is absence here totally. Okay, and there are many more you can elaborate on. Okay, we'll move on. Competent facilitator have both personal characteristics and acquired skills that make them good at what they do. Many good facilitators make a difficult process seem very natural and intuitive, even when lots of planning and training goes into that craft. Could you please list down some of the key characteristics? And just tell me, will you be able to do this? You have understood and you know what it is. Am I right?
Competent facilitators are actually emotionally intelligent.
Actually, Chandralekha, see what happens is, I think, what about others? Are you able to listen to Chandralekha?
No.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Chandralekha, I think your, connectivity is slightly weak. Sorry, you are coming with good points, but we are not able to listen to you.
Sir, I was trying to explain that, competent facilitators are emotionally intelligent people.
Please, Chandralekha, your movement. Yeah, please go on.
So competent facilitators are actually emotionally intelligent.
What else?
It's about the listening skills, questioning skills, managing participants.
Okay. This could also be naturally acquired and, acquired skills. Naturally, you would have seen a lot of people having the skill of listening and all. Some of us must have, acquired it in the later stage by way of training ourselves. Good. So this statement and question is understood, and you know how to, handle this question. Am I right?
Yes,
I
sir.
want just one person to say, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Provide an example of when you set expectations and monitored the performance of subordinates. What guidance and direction did you find most effective? I see. It is not required that you will have to, think of answering me. I just wanted to know whether you have understood this statement and you can handle it. You cannot immediately
So
shoot out
just
and
one
give me if you have a ready example, you are most welcome to tell me that. But if you are looking for it, yes, we can go ahead. Let us not dwell on it.
So is this can be any situation, or is this relation to facilitation?
Any situation. Yeah, any situation. Of course, there is a this one of facilitation coming into this. It can be any situation. How you handled it. And if at all it was not a facilitated situation and it was successful, you can always say. But we are talking about a facilitation subject here. So the skills what you used should have been aligned with the skills of facilitation. If at all it is not aligned to the skills of facilitation, there could have been a debacle, and okay, fine. You should have handled it knowing the facilitation skills is this.
The subordinates performance can be guided through examples. What I feel like there was one of my team member, it was all about calling out new clients. It was sort of a cold calling type of role. So where we were looking forward to onboarding new clients. So the first call was supposed to go by a team member. So now there what I felt is they were calling as if when we get the call from a bank person for a credit card, the cold calls are also very cold. Like they call saying that do you need, okay, you don't need, thank you. But they somehow I feel that they fail to generate the interest in the person that they talk to. Like why do they need and do they at all have the necessity? So so there was there was a person I was trying to bring up the skills of cold calling. So that time I gave the example, or I guided by saying first you have to feel like whatever you're talking should be interesting. Like you yourself should be highly interested in listening to whatever you say. If you are not interested in whatever you are listening, then how can you interest others? So it should be from person from if I'm talking interesting, if I'm talking sense, if I'm talking of something which the other person is interested in hearing or not. Like the other person needs maybe it's a very hot season, the other person needs cold water, and I go and give him a hot water, so that does not serve the purpose. So there should be something that should meet the need and expectation of the other person. So that is how I guide it.
Okay. In your thing, how did you guide him is most important? Was it a training angle or was it a facilitation?
It was sort of facilitation where I gave him opportunity, or rather gave her opportunities of speaking to the internal team members first, where she had to speak to us first before reaching out to the market, and try to raise interest among us, so that when it was happening, we could point out the problems or the drawback areas which she worked on, and later she went up to be a very good person who could generate a lot of
Okay. How are you going to stress this, that it was not a training that you were intervening into, it was facilitation you were doing in too? How are you going to stress this point across?
I can say it was more of a facilitation, because I did not give the person a long lecture or knowledge, but I created the situation where she could go through to understand the process understand the thing through the process.
Wonderful.
So that is how I feel it is a facilitation more than a training.
Okay, good. Excellent. Good. Okay, anybody else would like to share? Fine. In your experience, what is the key to developing a good team? Look for how they build mutual trust, respect, and cooperation. you be able to elaborate on this? You have understood what the statement means.
So a good team always is formed through mutual respect, where everybody should have respect for each other's knowledge and should come up with a helping thing. Like if somebody of the team, it should be a team. There should be a team culture. Like if somebody is not able to perform, the other team member should not be looking down, but they should be helping the person to come up with his skills. So it is not about one, it is about everybody working for one single goal. So the sense of the essence of the team should be inbuilt. Like there should never be one person held responsible for any fault. It should be the whole team, so that the whole team can work together.
Wonderful. How are you going to make this happen?
It's about bringing the whole team together and giving them the sense like the goal is not one person's responsibility. So that is how the team can come together. They should like everybody comes with a knowledge, so they should be given the opportunity to talk to each other, respect each other, learn from each other, and also if anybody is doing some mistake, everybody can give their input so that the person can come up. It's not about looking down, but it is about helping each other. So I think it is more about the soft thing, it's more of a psychological thing. Like everybody should start feeling that they are working together. It's not like, okay, he can't do, then why should I do? It should
Okay.
not be like that.
Good. What I feel is that you should bring in an angle of facilitation here. And how are you going to intervene? How is the intervention going to be? Is that you are going to shoot across a thing, and what would you like to do to gain mutual trust, respect, and cooperation? And leave the door open for the team members to come out and say that this is what we'll have to do to ensure that we have a mutual trust, respect, and cooperation. It's not that you're going to tell them, it's they will have to come out and tell that this is what we are going to adopt to maintain this, sustain this.
The process can be more of discouraging people to come up with individual problems. If you don't encourage them with the individual problems, that is the first thing. And when you start giving them inputs like, okay, have a discussion with your other team member and then come back with a solution, so empowering them to figure out a solution for a problem among themselves. So it's like encouraging them to have a mutual discussion and discouraging in the team riot or team conflicts.
Good. Anybody else on this, please? Small few sentences. Yeah, few statements. You have understood the statement, and I'm sure that you can, with the kind of inputs given to you by Sudeshna, was it? No, it was it
Yes, sir.
Sudeshna? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And if you have anything else to add to that, you can. Otherwise, we'll move on. I'm moving on. This is the definition which you have already said. Okay. That we have already discussed, I think. Okay. In your experience, what is the key to developing a good team? That also we have discussed. A good facilitator works hard to stay neutral and is careful to treat all meeting participants equally. Do you agree or disagree with this statement, and comment?
agree.
Yes, please.
Yes, the facilitator should be neutral.
Okay. These are one of the challenges of e-learning. Chandralekha, I think we lost you.
No, I'm audible, sir.
Yeah. Now you are audible, but I was not able to hear you. Is it
Yeah,
only with me or what about others?
Facilitator should be neutral, and
Okay,
he should treat everyone as equally.
okay. Wonderful. Good. You'll have to elaborate this a bit. Okay, you can do that little later, but anybody else on this statement? Because when you say this neutral and he should treat everybody equally, you'll have to elaborate and say that this is the quality of a facilitator. Otherwise, it's not called a facilitation. And these are the comments that will have to come up. Okay, having knowing this skills and the techniques used in facilitation, you'll have to bring it out. Anybody else on this, please? Differentiate between the following pair: convergent or closed-ended or divergent or open-ended questions. Anybody on this, please?
The close-ended questions are questions which has answers in either yes or no, and open-ended questions which has descriptive type of answer and which is not like very specific with a yes or no, or maybe
Okay.
a particular word as an answer.
Okay. And in facilitation, what do you do?
Open-ended questions.
Okay.
Because that would lead to more discussion and more thinking process. And the close-ended questions, by posing the close-ended questions, the discussion would stop with yes or no.
And a biased yes or no sometimes.
I didn't get you, sir.
Sometimes, when your boss comes and tells you, I have taken this decision. Okay. Do you agree with me?
Yes or no?
Was it, you said yes, or you said yes? Who pushed you to say yes?
Influenced by the.
Even if you want to say no, you are pushed to say yes. Right? Any examples on open-ended questions? The questions I'm asking about. How would you shoot your question to be open-ended? How are you doing today? How are you feeling?
How have you been?
The same thing, if you wanted it to be a close-ended question, how would you say? How do you ask?
Was the day good or bad?
Okay. Hope the day was good. Hope the day wasn't that good.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody else? Let's go to the second one, participatory facilitation and conventional training.
In participatory facilitation, the participants are actively involved. Whereas in conventional training, just like a lecture, it's a unidirectional training method.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? There could be many points. Anybody else? You're telling a guy what is to be done. Conventional?
Sir, can you repeat one?
You're telling your guy what is to be done. You'll have to do this, you'll have to do this. What do you, you know, when you are asked this, you are supposed to answer this. Okay. That is what?
Participatory facilitation?
Instructing, see, you are instructing somebody to do a particular task.
Okay, sir.
Okay. What is that between these two?
This
Conventional training. Okay. The same thing, participatory facilitation, what would you be instructing you? What would you be doing? I don't say instruction, sorry. What should you be doing?
not instructing, helping and guiding.
How do you do that? Put a question across and see. Test it out. Like you are asking that guy, are you able to hear me? You are asking that guy, in sales, you know, we do sometimes this. We tell a guy sometimes, the new guy sometimes when you're going, you go to the customer. When the right person comes in, you talk about the organization first, introduce yourself, talk about the organization. Then you're going to talk about your product. Then what is the products among the products that you have talked with, he would be interested. Okay, this is the training, background training, what we are given to a sales guy. Suppose if a guy is, if you want to be a facilitator, what are the things? Just convert this. When you visit that company, what should you be doing? What do you think that you should do? Okay. I'd be introducing myself, then I'd be doing that. Then you ask what else? Then he would say that, yeah, please.
Facilitator should be a good listener. What they are telling, A facilitator should listen.
Okay, good. Then the facilitator should listen, but how does he bring out the what do you call it, his intelligence out? How does he, what are the types of questions that he should be asking the person? He should be a good listener, no doubt. That's a primary thing. Then based on the listening, what does it do? What does it do?
So if someone is not participating, he can ask, he may ask specific questions for encouraging participation.
Okay. What is it? Can you repeat? I missed.
I said after listening, if he sees one of the participant is not participating, so he can ask specific questions. That is one of the skill he can use for encouraging participation and motivating others also to participate. Then other questions like redirected questions or follow-up questions, so that would encourage everyone to pitch in.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. You are able to hear me? Hello, you are able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, because it says my internet connection is not stable. That is the reason I just asked you all. And yesterday I was just, I got a reading material. They said that in the coaching questions, we asked, generally we ask, what is the purpose of your life or something? They say it's a bad question. Because when most of us do not come out with a purpose of our life, you are embarrassing a client. Generally, what happens is a few days back, the coaches were asking questions. Okay, fine. Let me know the purpose of your being. Today, the senior coaches tell us that this question need not be asked. It's not a good question to ask a client. Thereby, you are, embarrassing. So sensitive it is. So sensitive. The questions are analyzed. You know very well that the coaching is all about questioning. And the questioning is to be so, looked up and rehearsed and seen that the client should not get embarrassed or feeling small, whatever. Similarly, it also talks about facilitation. Your question should not be hurting people. Your question should not confuse them. Your question should not embarrass them. Your question should not bring in a bottleneck to them or a roadblock to the client, the person whom you're asking. So with this, you'll have to ask, it should only bring out something from him. Your question should be in such a manner that it brings out. Do you all agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay. And ice breaking and brainstorming. Differentiating between these two.
Ice breaking is at the beginning of a facilitation program, and brainstorming during the program.
Wonderful. Wonderful. You'll have to elaborate on that a bit. Okay. And ice breaking can also be used in a training program.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay, good, fine. So it has to be elaborated on. Okay, we will not dwell on these things. If you have understood the question and the meaning behind that, I know very well that you would be able to elaborate on these things. You're all very experienced and you're all in the field of training, most of you, and you should be able to do that. We'll move on to the next one. PA. You all know what TA is, am I right?
I'm not sure about transactional analysis. Can you?
Okay,
I am okay. You are
okay, I'm okay, you are okay. And a parent, child, and an adult. Okay, a little, you can go through that. It's a subject by itself. You know, you can also use this in facilitation skills. And it's you can go through, you can just go back and refer to any books or anything, because if I start looking into it, it's a very lengthy subject to be discussed on. Okay. And conflict management. Make a note of all these things, please. It will be helpful to you.
participants are of different qualities and characteristics. In a facilitation program, we have to manage all these in different types of people.
Good. Not all people think alike. If all people think alike, then you need not have a facilitation program at all. Okay. You're aligning the different thought processes for a specific goal. Okay, ideologies would differ, the culture would differ, and the thinking pattern would differ. As a facilitator, you are just aligning all of them and bringing it to a specific goal, what is set for all these things. No two guys think alike. So there is bound to be a conflict. As a facilitator, you have to resolve this conflict and take it forward. Okay. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
Good. Starting and closing. Anybody on this?
Starting with icebreakers and closing with a consensus.
Wonderful. Okay. You can also elaborate on this and read more about this. You all have made a note of these reflections. Am I right?
Yes.
Did you make a note, or do you want any help in?
Sir, sir, can you please explain transactional analysis?
See, transactional analysis is a behavioral pattern.
Mhm.
Where you have the behavior of an adult child. The way you are asking questions, the way you are commanding, is it adult? Adult is very matured. Facilitator is supposed to be an adult. Your parent, what does it tell their child?
He'll
There are
order.
three to this. Pardon?
So please go on, sir. Please go.
Do
There
this,
are
do
three
that.
divisions. Here there are three things.
Okay.
One is adult behavior. The other one is a child behavior. The other one is a parent behavior.
Okay.
Parent behavior is always a commanding one. You do this, you don't do this, you are supposed to do this, you are. Child behavior is slightly a problematic children. Okay, that is why it's called child. I can behave like a child, even though I'm a very, I don't say an aged guy. Okay, I can at times be a parent when I'm talking to my son.
Okay.
At times be like a child. I want you to do this. There are certain characters, there are certain things which is laid and say, these are the characteristics of a child kind of a behavior. These are certain characteristics for an adult behavior. For a parent behavior. What is an adult behavior? Very matured. You got to say, okay, given this problem, what do you think that you should be doing? If my son comes to me and tell me that I'm stuck here, I want to do. I would just ask him that, what are the options that you have taken? What are the things that you should be doing, you think? That is an adult. Adult is very matured. So it's a big subject by itself. I think you can get a lot of material on this, and you can.
Sure, sir.
This is the outline that I have given you. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Yeah.
Right. And now my this one disappeared from the screen. Doesn't matter. Okay.
So it's end of slide, sir.
It's the end of slide. Okay.
See, exist, it will come again.
Oh, good. It's come again. Okay, and that's the end of the slide. And now, where did we stop? Last time. We did discuss about theories and types of consensus. Decisions in the process of facilitation is what we discussed. I think we have left with some 15 minutes. We'll close on a couple of topics. We discussed about the types of decisions in the process of facilitation, right? The command, the consultative or a shared one, and the consensus. We use all the, depending upon the situations in facilitation, we use all the three. The preferred one is consensus. The command decisions or those made by an individual. When do we do, during facilitation, when do we do the command decisions? When do we take? The answer is in the second statement. If you want a particular decisions to go, has to be taken very quickly, or you need an expert knowledge on this. An expert comes and sits and says that this is the way it has to be done. You can also relate it to the present scenario in what we face in India. We go by the experts and say that this is what we wanted it to be done. Okay, the other day, I'll tell you, other day, Dr. David Shetty said that the final year nursing students will have to be relieved. And once they work for 1 year in the ICU or for COVID patients, then they can be given the certificate. And the house surgeons, after their MBBS, who are waiting to enter into an professional courses, they can be given a chance to work for 1 year, and they would be given a choice of their post-graduation. That's an expert. Even though there has been a facilitation going on, an expert comes and tells you what is to be done. Once your oxygens are in place, then you need people to handle those. So similarly, the government has done that. They have instructed all the state governments to relieve the final year nursing, and there is some move on that. So that is on command. We went by an expert decision and adopted it, right? Agreed? Anything
Yes, sir.
on this? Consultative or shared one. Similar to the command one, he takes a decision. The command, the fellow takes a decision. Here he consults. Dr. Devi Shetty is a consultant guy. And the command is taken by the Prime Minister or the Chief Minister of the particular state or the country. He was in command. He said that based on the expertise that we have got, we are going to do this. The command was that, and the consultative was this. We consulted an expert on this. Anything on this? You can add also. Consensus? Consensus decisions are true team decisions where you turn over the decision to the group. If there are 8 members in the team, how do you know there was a consensus? Sonal? Rashmi?
So, like whenever the group is into the discussion and by consensus decision is that every participant, agree to the decision which is mutually agreed with by the learners or participants. So it is the consensus decision, and the facilitator does not put in his mind. It is the group's wisdom, the decision, which is the final outcome of the facilitation process.
Wonderful. If there are 8 members, you have 7. Somebody? Do you all hear some noise? Okay. What was I trying to tell you? If there are 8 members in the team, the facilitation team, okay, 7 of them agreed, and the 8th one has not agreed. Do you call it a consensus?
No.
No, it is not. So what does the facilitator do at that given point? If you were a facilitator, if you are put into such a situation, what would be doing?
I would pitch in and would convince the final decision.
As a facilitator, you are not convincing.
Okay.
As a facilitator, you are not convincing. You are not getting into that.
In that case,
What
we
would you
can
be
question
doing?
the person who is not agreeing on why he's not agreeing and trying to understand his point of differences.
Who is going to do that?
Facilitator?
Facilitator will not be doing that. He will not go into the level of convincing or making bringing him around.
So it's not convincing. It's about understanding why he's not agreeing. Like,
why should a facilitator
understand?
Who should understand? Suppose if I'm an external facilitator in your organization, you have invited me to take a particular call on a particular subject. So I'm an external facilitator. I'm not bothered about what happens in your organization, but I like to do justice to the facilitation that I'm doing. Okay. And there are 8-member team you have, and one is not agreeing. What should I be doing as a facilitator?
He would be going with the 7 participants' inputs. He will leave
You are going to address to all the people, and you're going to bounce that up and say that I have heard you taking these kind of decisions. And unless the 8 of you come out and tell me that this is what is the decision, we are not going to call out. Okay, we are not going to close this meeting. So the challenge is thrown to whom?
to the 8 participants.
All the 8 participants.
To the group.
In the group, the pressure is on whom?
To the participants.
To the
7 participants. The 7 participants. The pressure is the 8th one. He said, no, I'm not agreeable to this, and he's sitting there. Okay. The pressure is on 7 participants. The 7 participants will have to sit around the 8th guy and tell them these are the advantages, these are the things or that, and a facilitator is listening. He is listening. And he would only say, haven't given that 7 participants are such and such man. He can call out the names and say, have said that, let's go on this. And we find the 8th guy, such a person, is still not convinced to take this path. So what is an alternative that the 8th man has got, if not this? So the pressure has to be transferred to the 8th guy, so that if it does not have a right thing to do it, he falls in. He falls in convinced. Yes, I do agree that all other things are closed. For a time being, I may go ahead with what the 7 people are thinking. I'm just giving you an understanding of how things do happen. I'm not applying pressure myself. I'm applying pressure on the 8 guys to come to a consensus. In the sense, you cannot take it as a facilitator. I'm not supposed to apply pressure also, but I'm going to tell that you will have to. And also, one of the skills in facilitation is that there is no, timing. You should not give a time bar. Yes, by 5 o'clock, I wanted this to be done. Some people say this is not the characteristics of a facilitation, because you have already strangled them by telling, and they will immediately fall in line and say that even though the decision taken may be not right, they would still come up because they will have to close. So stop the clock. We were talking about stop the clock. Neglect the clock. Don't go with the clock. Don't get pressurized because of the timing, because the decision is not going to be right. The situation may bring pressure, but not a facilitator should bring pressure. Understood? Complex?
Understood, sir.
Thank you. Criteria for selecting a decision style is, okay, who knows, who cares, and who owns? Who must act? When must it be made? These are certain questions that during the, who knows better? We are all talking about vaccinations, but who knows better about vaccinations? Who cares and who owns it? I own. I care about it. Who must act? I must act. If people say the efficacy is less than 50, why should I act? If the experts, the man who knows, comes out and tell me the efficacy is around 85%, the chances of you falling sick or you getting infected is going to be very low compared to the others. Okay, I would be the one who would be acting on it. And when must it be? I'm just giving an example. When must it be done? Made. Decision. Theories or types of consensus. Discuss until everyone arrives at the same decision without any time restriction. Pause the clock. Got it? Any doubts on this?
No, sir.
Okay, a particular guy may hijack the meeting if he's not interested to conclude, right? If he's against it, he would say, he would push. He would say that I don't want to take a call on this. I'll have to relook into it. I'll come back. At some situation, it has to be pause the clock. At some situation, you will have to bring it that is situational, whether to import vaccines or not. If the guy keeps on telling, one guy in the ministry keeps on telling, no, importing is going to be that, this and all, we'll have to, can it wait? When you do not have the sufficient number of vaccines. So the situation is pushing, not the facilitator who is pushing. Do you get the situation now here? The country is going to suffer if you don't import. If one guy stands up and say that I would like to hold the import of vaccines, you'll have to tell that, explain the guy that, boss, the situation. Guys are dying every day. You'll have to vaccinate. So let us take a call. You'll have to bring in the situation. But facilitator should not say that, no, you'll have to call by 5 o'clock. By today, 12 o'clock. No. You will have to always quote the situation, that the situation is giving you pressure and not the facilitator. It's not the characteristics of a facilitator to give pressure on the team. Got it, no? It is ideal because everyone on their own will be in complete agreement. Once you explain the situation to him and he takes a call, he aligns with the rest of the guys, then it is, he also wants it. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
Discuss until everyone is willing to accept the decision of the majority and carry it as if it were their own. You'll have to allow that to happen. You'll have to allow that to settle in his mind. It's very important to take a call on this. You cannot walk away without taking a call. You'll have to take a call based on the situation which is prevailing. I, as a facilitator, is not applying pressure on you at all. Sorry. The situation is applying pressure on you. You are sitting here to take a call by today so that you can act tomorrow, or you can act immediately after the decision. I'm not telling you, you should act. Got it, no? You know what a facilitator does and how he brings the situation in? He doesn't bring. The situation is already prevailing there. That is the reason you call for a meeting, a facilitation. Anybody on this? Mr. Ashok, do I have some time or do I conclude here now?
If they are willing, you can go for 5 minutes if participants are willing, because it's lunch time. So you can ask them and then continue if you want, but you have one more class.
Oh, wonderful. Right then, do we close here? What have you got to say?
So thank you for bringing in a wide variety of scenarios and thought-provoking questions. I wish we had in our political system, we have a minister for facilitation and who can facilitate the ruling parties and the opposition both in parliament as well as in state cabinets. I think ISTD should pitch for this.
It's for it. Yeah, true. I think some of the members in ISTD, I don't wish to name here now, have been approached by the Prime Minister to do certain work for them.
Okay.
But since demand for this particular person was something that he wanted to be very, on the confidential, because
maybe,
it would
maybe good old days. Maybe good old days.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have one small request, Mr. Swamy.
Yes,
I don't know whether you covered it in your sessions. One is the divergence and convergence techniques.
Okay.
So a facilitator should use a variety of tools when he wants to capture ideas from the audience. Divergent ideas without being evaluative or without taking sides or non-judgmental way. And similarly, when the meeting ends towards a close, then he has to develop these techniques of convergence, getting people to build a consensus, getting people to agree on a decision so that some criteria is evolved. When I was back as a quality manager, we had lot of quality tools in Six Sigma and quality tools like multi-voting, decision-making criteria, decision tree, affinity diagrams. So the question is, if you can touch upon the divergence and convergence, and along with that, a few tools, if necessary, that would probably give them one more Brahmastra.
Certainly,
in their arsenal.
Done. I'll be doing it.
Okay, so next class, you can probably, if you have not done it, you can do it.
Yeah.
Okay, gentlemen, can I wind up, Mr. Swamy? Can
Yeah,
I?
you can. Thanks a lot.
Okay, so the one request to all of you is please submit your assignments. The faculty have been